Hey, greetings everyone. Glenn Kellaway from the basement. It is Tuesday morning as I record this. This is a subject that actually keeps me up at night. It has for years. It's hard to even explain, but I always think when someone says, "Who is my favorite band?" automatically I say Beatles. I hear a ton of people say it. My problem is, then I say, why are they my favorite band? Do I listen to the Beatles very much? No. I don't play a lot of Beatles records. I think they're a security blanket. Because in 1964, when I was 11 years old, and totally passionate about music, they came along and just swept me up. And they were like my heroes. I'm now thinking the Beatles are my security blanket. Don't take my security blanket away. I did a video the other day where I talked about the Beatles box sets and how much of a waste of money they were for me because I never play them. I just play the original record. I don't need the outtakes and everything. I like that. I like to hear them once. They're interesting. And then they sit on my shelf like an artifact. And I don't need it. I'm not a historian or a collector. I like to listen to music. So then I think, man, like, when's the last time I listened to a Beatles record? I listened to Hard Day's Night probably recently. I think I'm more apt to play albums like John's Plastic Ono Band or Paul's Venus and Mars, to tell you the truth. I think Sgt. Pepper's the greatest album ever made. I'm not going to get off of that perch. That's it for me. I think it is. But when I say what my favorite bands are, the Beatles aren't even close. Like, I'm so passionate about other musicians. So I decided to make a top 10 based on what I think I've played the most consistently over the past decade. And the Beatles are on the list, but anyway, I'm going to do this. So I'm taking away my security blanket. My mom's washing it, and I'm going to tell you who I think my favorite 10 bands are based on the attention they get from me on my stereo system. Number 10, Led Zeppelin. I play Zeppelin quite often, especially One and Physical Graffiti, but I've recently listened to Led Zeppelin 2 and 3. I love Zeppelin. They're number 10. Number 9, I'm going with, even though this has been over the last couple of years, but I mean, I'm obsessed with this band, and shame on me that I wasn't following them earlier. But XTC is going to be number 9 on the list. They'd be higher up if I was a fan for a longer period of time. But this is the album I was introduced to XTC with, is the Black Sea. Thank you, Larry Graves, for that, inspiring me to check these guys out. Yeah, I play XTC all the time. It used to be when I couldn't figure out what to listen to, I'd play a Beatles record. I always think, okay, they're my slippers. I don't know what to put on. I don't know what to put on TV. Nothing on. I'll watch Seinfeld. It's the same thing. Music. I don't know what to put on. I can't. I'm looking through 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 titles, and I go, I'll put the Beatles on. It doesn't happen anymore. XTC is one of them. Okay, I forgot to bring an album over, but David Bowie. I mean, I've always been a Bowie fan. Now I'm a Bowie fanatic. Low is my favorite Bowie album. Heroes is probably my second favorite, and then I don't know what. Then I probably, it's back into the Ziggy Stardust and those kind of albums back in the 70s, such as Heyday. So David Bowie's number 7, or number 8. Number 7, the Beatles. They made the list. 7 now. Number 1 for 60 years. Now 7th, the Beatles, and this is still the greatest album ever made. Number 6, Jethro Tull. Aqualung gets played all the time in my house. One of my top 5 albums of all time. I love this album. I'm a huge fan of Minstrel in the Gallery. I love Stand Up, Benefit, the first album This Was, which is more of a bluesy kind of a thing before they really got into the Tull sound. And Tull gets a lot of love in my house all the time. Like, they got to be on the list. Number 6. Number 5 for me is Yes. I was not a fan of Yes in the 70s. Sometime in the mid 90s, I'm going to say, I decided I got to check out Yes again. And this was the first album where the light bulb went off and I went, Yes. Now I know why they call themselves Yes. I finally got it and I went, holy crap, this is mind-blowing. These guys are incredible. Close to the Edge is probably my favorite Yes album. This because it inspired me in Tales from Topographic Oceans, which I know is a bit controversial in terms of for Yes fans on how good it is, but I love it. But this album really changed my musical life for sure. That Yes album. So Yes is number 5. Number 4, King Crimson. Love King Crimson. Love them, love them, love them, love them, love them. Every album, every song. Seeing them live is just incredible. Robert Fripp is a monster of a guitar player and an arranger and a writer and whatever else. Just, this is, again, one of my top albums of all time. Love King Crimson. They were coming in at number 5. Number 4 would be The Grateful Dead. Am I screwing this list up? I feel like I am. This could be number 3. Number 3, The Grateful Dead. I'm getting old. I mixed up a couple, so now I really got myself screwed up. So number 3, The Grateful Dead. American Beauty's their best studio album. The live stuff's incredible. Huge fan. Always play The Grateful Dead. Another one of those, I don't know what to play. I can put on The Grateful Dead and just get lost in it. Jerry Garcia, one of my heroes, always over my shoulder. Grateful Dead, number 3. Number 2, Frank Zappa. Always gets played in my house. I love Zappa. Discovering this man's music is a lifelong journey. There are something like 100, I think 70 some titles released during his lifetime. Another 70 some released posthumously, officially released. And we're not talking bootlegs here. 120 to 130 titles. And everything from orchestral music to jazz rock to straight rock to parodies to, I don't know, everything, man. This guy is a genius. Number 1. Now, he has taken over. I'm going to officially announce when someone says, who is your favorite band / artist, from now on, it is not the Beatles, it is Bob Dylan. It took Bob 59 years to knock them off their perch, but it's official. When anybody asks me who my favorite artist is now, it's Bob Dylan, forever and ever. What can I say? It just is. Since 1965, Bob Dylan has been a favorite of mine, so almost as long as the Beatles, 1 year short. And I play Bob Dylan more than anybody else. I respect Bob Dylan more than anybody else, and I'm going to see Bob on Thursday night. And Blonde on Blonde's still the second greatest album, though. Bob Dylan's my favorite artist. The Beatles have the greatest album. This is the second greatest album, Blonde on Blonde. So tell me your thoughts on the Beatles. Like, are you the same as me? Do you listen? You just is it a comfort thing? Is it because you grew up with them, and that's the way it is? Or talk to me. Anyway, I'm changing. I changed. I'm done. I admit it on screen here. Bob Dylan is my favorite artist of all time. The Beatles are dropping down the list because of, not because of the memories I have of them, just the amount of attention they get on my stereo system. So everyone have a great day. We'll talk soon. Take care.